G'day. A little bit of a late update. I've been away at a gathering called Grounded Permaculture Action Party last week, and that was during the equinox, so I didn't do a film then, so I'm going to do it now. It's been a pretty horrible summer, really. January and February were very hot, very dry. February we had no rain at all, very low in January, and even so far in March we've only had 20 something. So we spent a lot of time January, February just trying to water things and keep things alive. We have lost quite a few trees and some other plants. It's been pretty depressing actually, but the food forest now is looking a bit okay now. The rainfall is kind of exceeding evaporation, and actually some grass is growing back, and I'll show you some examples where some trees and plants look like they had died, like they went through this survival mechanism, I guess, and they dropped their leaves and look really shit, but they're actually, a lot of them are sprouting back now. So yeah, it's interesting to see. But you can probably see the pine trees in the background have gone really brown. A lot of eucalyptus are looking pretty brown. We did have 4 helpers come over a period of 3 or 4 weeks. One of them is a rope access technician, and so he's been up these trees and trimmed them, and we'll trim them down to where I can reach them on a long ladder, just to protect the infrastructure underneath, reduce the fire risk. And there's another big tree done up near the food forest as well that is ready to be cut down and used for firewood. The other reason for the delay is that Evita's sister is visiting from Taiwan, and she's just staying there in the Hobbit house, and so that's delayed it another few days while we spend time with her and went to a national park, playing a bit of chess, playing a bit of Scrabble, and so on, just hanging out. But after those 4 helpers left, Evita and I made this box, and you can see a clue of what it is this pipe coming out into the water tank, but it's our fire pump, where our fire pump's living, with 4 hoses, and these 4 hoses can connect to each other or separately, set up so that you can have 2 hoses going at once, and the hoses can reach around to the front of the house either way. So sort of 2 hoses going one way and 2 hoses going the other way, and the water coming out of the pump, out of the tank here. And that's something we probably should have done a few years ago, but during the February there was a fire in Garraween and Bunabanu national parks, and potentially it could have come this way, and we were getting a little bit worried, so that's kind of pushed me into finally getting that kind of thing done. And I still need to work on a fire plan, so but that's a really good step. That makes us feel a little bit more prepared that we can actually wet things down around the house if a fire were to come close, and stay and fight, protect the place. That's the tree, the other tree that the other helper went up with his ropes and trimmed it down. He couldn't just do a cut in one go because there's obviously trees and fences underneath, so he took it down bit by bit, and now it can be, this strap that's still there can get put on a winch and get pulled up that way while it gets cut. It'll be a big tree to cut. Goats are still doing good. They're still milking. We're still getting about 850, 900 mils a day from them, which is enough for what we need. I said I would show you an example of a plant that has a sort of protection mechanism in it, or maybe it's basically just died and then regrown from the roots. But see that one there? It's died off, but now it's shooting back there. And I guess that's testament to us trying to improve the soil with organic materials, and mulching around it has preserved the little bits of moisture that are around, and occasionally that I do water this. But you can see, like, look at that pear tree there. It's just, even this apple tree is looking sad, but that pear tree there has lost all its leaves. And I doubt very much there's going to be much of fruit in those bags. It's a little bit sad. Another job that the helpers did was to create a box for a couple of the fruit trees. They were in these blue barrels, but it's turned out that that one's actually looking okay, but the other barrel just completely split and broke apart. So they made this box to put the two trees in and basically give them a little bit more soil, plus we can grow some stuff in between. So that was a job I kind of tried to relent responsibility to the helpers, and a couple of them did it, and we got a good result in the end. It did take quite a long time, but that's why they come here, is to learn skills and practice their skills, and so that's all good. The other major thing we did every day was, well, not every day, but most days, was to try and do a bit of time digging. We're still working on our terraces, digging out the rocks, which is kind of an ongoing project that you probably have seen in other videos. But you can see here, it's a bit of a mess. A large number of rocks coming out of what looks like a fairly small hole. I don't know where all the rocks keep coming from, but it's good fun. It's a challenge. It's hard work. You can see some of the rocks here. It's kind of fun when you can split a big rock like that in half. And I've kind of got the problem now of what to do with the rocks. Look at that big one there I've just left as part of the wall on that terrace. And then we took some of the other ones, we dragged them and moved them and made an island in the pond here, just to use the biggest ones, because I don't know what else to do with them. So there's a few there that, and we'll probably put that one there up on top for the island, maybe even add a few more, I don't know. I don't want to add too many because then we can't store the water anymore, but probably at least put that one on top there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe put some small rocks around and put a bit of soil there and grow something, and then if a bird wants to come and nest there, it can, and when there's water there, it'll be protected. And the other thing is we did is put sawdust around our veggie circles just to build soil, stop the weeds. We put newspaper down, fill them up with sawdust. I think we did 3 or 4 ute loads of sawdust. Yeah, probably 4 loads, a little bit left over. And so we're still planting now for winter.
And like this, salad, onion.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
Hello.
What are you planting?
Yes, we are. And Carla is telling me what she's doing. What she used to do in Tenerife when she designs her bed. It's similar like this, just growing all different species and all different veggies and herbs together.
yeah, because on the side, the